Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kim Yoon-ah from Dongsan Girls Middle School. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express my opinion here. Have you ever heard the song? 그 누가 아무리 자기네 땅이라고 우겨도 독도는 우리 땅. This means no matter who thinks it is their territory, 독도 is our territory. Since the past, we have been many conflicts with Japan. One conflict is which country Dokdo belongs to. But we don't have to discuss Dokdo with Japan, because Dokdo is definitely ours. But the reason why I said Dokdo problem is because there are many people who don't know the fact. Apple, one of the top companies in global economy, consider Dokdo Japan's island. We should not just look at these things. We must correct it. We must insist on what is right and correct what is wrong and strengthen our spirit. Now, I will tell you why Dokdo belongs to Korea. In the past, searching for the East Sea showed nothing. However, when you search for the Sea of Japan, it showed the location of the East Sea. Based on historical facts, the East Sea is a name used by Koreans for more than 2,000 years. Japan only began to call this area the Sea of Japan, the 19th century. It is inappropriate for Japan to claim the East Sea as the Sea of Japan. Korea reported the inadequacy, and as a result, most of the maps, including Google's, are now labeled as the East Sea. Because Dokdo is at the point where warm current and cold current meet, it is rich in plankton and has a lot of fish species. In addition, a lot of methane hydrate, also called burning ice, exists. But most of all, Dokdo contains the history of us. Dokdo has historically been our territory since Silla subjected Usangguk in 512. At the time of Sukjong in Joseon, Japan's document of apology of the territorial dispute over Ulleungdo and Dokdo was sent by Annyeongbok's effort. As such, Dokdo contains the spirit of us. To protect Dokdo is to protect the spirit of our people. And it's time for us to step out to protect our spirit. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, my name is Jung Wei-ha. I am here to argue that Dokdo is Korean territory. From now on, I will be talking about Dokdo, Korea's precious land. There are many people who will argue that Dokdo is Japanese territory, but today I will refute those claims. Japan typically bases their arguments on 3 points. Let us look at each one. First, the Japanese say that they have been using the land of Dokdo since the 1600s when they began fishing there. At that time, they claimed that they did not know that Dokdo was Korean territory. Since the 1600s, the Japanese have freely gone to Dokdo and fished there. Because of Japan's historical use of Dokdo for fishing and their ignorance of Korean claims over Dokdo at the time, Japan states that Dokdo is their territory. However, the claim that the Japanese did not know of any Korean claims over Dokdo is false. In the book Sejong Compilation of Geography of 1454, it clearly states that Dokdo is a part of Korean territory. This book was published in 1454, well before Japanese claimed to have used Dokdo in the 1600s. Therefore, the statement that the Japanese did not know Dokdo was Korean territory is false. They knowingly were using Korean land at that point. Secondly, Japan officially declares Dokdo as Japanese territory using the 1905 Shimane Fracture. The Japanese state that Dokdo was not owned by any country at that point, and Japan had already occupied the Iceland. Therefore, they were able to claim Dokdo. However, Dokdo was already claimed by Korea 5 years earlier in Article 51 of the 1900 Edict. Because Dokdo had an owner, Japan's 1905 declaration is invalid. Japan's third point involved their treaties with America, England, and China during Korean liberation from Japanese rule. When Japan lost in World War II, they signed treaties in 1951 that ordered Japan to return all land that was forcibly taken from Korea. Japan claims that these treaties referred to land that was stolen after 1910, because Japanese say that occupied Dokdo was Dokdo before 1910. They claim that Dokdo is not included in these treaties and they are not required to give Dokdo back to Korea. However, looking closely at the treaties signed, there is a clause that states Japan recognized Korea's independence, gives up all of Korea's life, including Jeju Island, Gyeongdo, and Ulleungdo. On the basis of this clause, this treaty includes Jeju Island, Gyeongdo, and Ulleungdo, but it is not limited to this territory. Therefore, Japan must return any and all territories that were once part of Korea, including Dokdo. Now, let me remind you of the 3 points that Japan has based their arguments upon and my refutes. First, Japan claims they have a history of using Dokdo since 1600s and that they did not know of any Korean claims over Dokdo when they began fishing there. However, Korea's claim over Dokdo was documented well before the 1600s in 1459 in Sejong Compilation of Geography of 1459. Secondly, Japan declares the 1905 Shimane fracture as their official claim over Dokdo, which they say was not owned by any country. However, the declaration is invalid because Dokdo was already owned by Korea as shown by the 1900 Edict. Third, after World War II, Japan signed a treaty that clearly orders Japan to return all land that was once a part of Korea. Based on this information, Japan claims over Dokdo are baseless and Dokdo rightfully belongs to Korea. Japan's insistence that Dokdo is there will only continue to aggravate international relations between Japan and Korea. Thank you for listening.
Do you hear my voice? 제 목소리 들리시나요? Okay, let's start it. How are you? I'm Kim Ha-won, one of the people who loves Dokdo. I've written a poem about the Dokdo Guard. Let you hear it. The Defense of Dokdo, written by Kim Ha-won. It's Dokdo that has been through so much history. You stood there in winter, facing the cold waves and the blizzard. You stood there in summer, in the strong sunshine and storm. For 5,000 years, you always stood there, Korean War, Japanese looting and colony, Korean groans and pains. You know all about that. You are our territory, and you are always with us. So, can you tell me now? You are Korean territory, Dokdo. Thank you for listening to my poem. But what would change if I shouted that Dokdo is our land alone? Last time, I watched the Dokdo concert with my parents through an internet video. There was a choir landing on Dokdo under the command of the conductor, where the North Korean defectors gathered their mouths and sang in a single voice. The wind was blowing, the hail was flying. While the choirs in white shirts were like a bunch of seagulls guarding Dokdo. 저 멀리 동해 바다 외로운 섬 오늘도 거센 바람 불어오겠지 조그만 얼굴에 바람 맞으니 독도야 간밤에 잘 잤느냐. The song is sad, powerful, strong. So I felt that it sounded like both heartbreaking and touching. Korean people studied Dokdo to protect Dokdo with the love of Dokdo, sang Dokdo, made flash mobs in accordance with the song Dokdo is our land, and designated Dokdo Day. Furthermore, many people came to visit Dokdo. If you show your love and interest in Dokdo without any doubt, especially if our future masters learn the spirit of historical characters who have kept Dokdo and show their interest and will, Dokdo will no longer be a lonely island. In the Bible, though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of three, strength is not quickly broken. As we do, our actions to protect Dokdo to our land are not solo singing. But if all our people, our choirs and voices gather under the command of a good conductor to inform one's kindness in a loud voice, I think it will be a powerful country that no one can do with a single line that is not easily broken. Thank you for my listening.
Hello everyone, my name is Kang Min-jae. Today I'm going to give a speech titled Dokdo the Red, which we should protect. I'd appreciate if you could listen to it. Dokdo is an island that Korea must protect because we have a right to claim what was originally ours. This land has historic, geographic, and natural value. Firstly, the location of Dokdo is Dokdori, Ulungup, Ulungun, currently in the northern provinces. Dokdo is an important island because of its natural landscape. What's there? There are many different kinds of creatures and organisms living there, including 60 kinds of insects and plants such as dandelions, hobeb, and Arctic daisies. Dokdo also has 130 types of insects such as danjang dragonflies, beetles, and painted lady butterflies. More than 160 species of birds fly above Dokdo's beautiful sky, including black-tailed gulls, storks, and ospreys. In the sea, there are many kinds of sea creatures living in harmony, such as sari, popular fish, trout, upland, mussel, seaweed, shrimp, etc. In addition, there are many rare animals living there. For this reason, Dokdo has been designated as Nature Monument number 336. In other words, Dokdo is a natural repository. Secondly, is very geographic unit. For example, Dokdo has many interesting rocks. There is an elephant rock that looks like an elephant drinking water. There is candlestick rock, which is a rock in the shape of a candlestick. Dokdo also has Korean Peninsula rock that is in the shape of Korea, and Donghae Moonbari rock, which looks like a Donghae moon. You can see 89 unique rock islands in Dokdo. Oh, how nice it would be to see the scenery there. Additionally, Dokdo has a rich supply of methane hydrate, sometimes called the second petroleum. When you light it on fire, the burning ice turns into a gas. It can replace limited oil resources. They were already a problem. It has a high efficiency and it does not contribute to global warming. It's the next generation of energy resources. The amount in Dokdo is enough for all Koreans to use for 30 years. Dokdo is a place of splendor and is a natural treasure. Why is Japan trying to claim Dokdo? Perhaps one reason is to gain Dokdo's underground methane hydrate resources. However, the issue has long been part of the sad story of our two nations. Korea was occupied by the Japanese from 1910 to 1945. At that time, Japan committed atrocities and possibly took Dokdo and many other Korean territories. During the occupation, Dokdo was known as Takeshima by the Japanese. Korea regained its independence in 1945, but Japan still denies that Dokdo is part of Korea. Japan still refers to Dokdo as Japan's Takeshima in their history textbooks and their teaching. Japan's destruction of history is severe and continues even today. What can we do about this Japanese destruction of history? Dokdo should be recognized as Korean territory. Then we need to make sure that Japan is aware and also acknowledges that Dokdo is part of Korea. The most important thing is that Koreans always remember that Dokdo is our land. That's all I prepared. Thank you all for listening to my speech.
김형준, 오늘 기권했습니다.
Hello everyone, I'm Min Se-byun from Pungi Middle School. I'm from Pungi-eub, which is one of the small towns in Gyeongbuk Province. And this is also the same as Dokdo, which I'm going to tell about today. Or as Dokdo also belongs to Gyeongbuk Province. Yes, Dokdo and I have in common. We both of us are the same country folks. To be honest with you, I just knew so vaguely about Dokdo, just citing Dokdo is our land as others talk like that. However, as I wanted to join this speech competition, looking for materials and preparing scripts, I realized it was an opportunity to think seriously about how long-standing and important the Korean-Japanese dispute over Dokdo is, which is caused by Japan's wrong desire. I thought that we would not have to deal with this problem with a simple rage against Japan, but we would need to know it properly and work out how to deal with it in the future. First of all, I was surprised to find the data and the reaction of foreign countries to Dokdo is Korean territory that we took for granted or not. In the case of the United States, they are keen to avoid getting into the fight between Korea and Japan because both countries are allies to them. For China, the color between Korea and Japan is an interesting side, and they are looking carefully at Japan's attempt to resolve it. And they are looking carefully to the International Court for later use in their dispute on Senkaku Daoidao Island. Russia is cynically criticizing as to what Japan intends to do this. Because they are also involved in a dispute over the Kuril Peninsula with Japan. What was even more amazing was the reaction of the third world countries. Most countries seemed uninterested, while they did not even know Dokdo was Korea's territory. Or there were public opinion about why Korea would not accept international trial with Japan if the dispute deepened. Looking at this situation, I realized that we could not win this dispute with an emotional approach to the Dokdo issue. If we simply put forward the claim that Dokdo is Korea's territory, no one will be at our corner and give us support that Korea is right. Therefore, it is necessary to actively promote external publicity and notification of Dokdo over the globe. If we better understand how important getting support from the international community, we will not just sit down and complain about why they don't know that Dokdo is Korea's territory. But we must more actively promote all globe to protect our Dokdo. Fortunately, many K-pop and drama stars are now leading the way, and on the one hand, the ripple effect of these idols are beyond imagination. I think it is very important to provoke public opinion internationally and inform them through active publicity and notification activity. Secondly, I think that we should take place Dokdo education more systematically and accurately at schools. Of course, we are already learning this at the time of Korean history, but in order for us to prepare for an intensified dispute, we need further education to make accurate understanding and judgment about them. I think our generation will be a great force for future disputes that will not be easy to win in order to protect Dokdo. Finally, I believe that more active and wise diplomacy is needed at the international level. It is also a kind of good way to avoid going or not traveling in Japan. However, in the long run, I don't think it can go forever at the view of the global era. Of course, it is very important to use these kinds of strategy to press Japan as a diplomatic skill, but in terms of relationship, it is better to make Japan abandon their wrong desire. As our diplomacy becomes wiser using by carrot and whip strategy. I think this is the true wisdom which Korea diplomacy goes for like, so his diplomatic winning with Kitai that our ancestors achieved. Without love toward Dokdo, for others, Dokdo is just a small stone island. However, Korean people must be allowed to why they shouldn't protect Dokdo. To answer to this question, I would like to introduce an episode with Korean actor Ho Jun-ho, who had just emerged as a K-drama star in Japan. And this occurred when he got interviewed in Japan. A Japanese journalist asked him, "What do you think about the Dokdo issue recently?" At that moment, the press conference was in a tense atmosphere, but Ha immediately took the ballpoint from the Japanese journalist, then replied again, "How are you feeling?" "Yes, that's right. Dokdo is our territory for sure and should win over to the Japanese to reveal the history of neo-imperialism." While it may not make sense for us to make this ridiculous fight with Japan for a long time, but to overcome and protect our Dokdo. It is time for us to upgrade wisely once more to protect our beloved Dokdo. Thank you for listening and sharing your precious time.
Dokdo is our territory. Our Koreans know this. However, if you were to explain to foreigners why Dokdo is Korean territory, many people will not be able to explain it well. Japan continues to insist Dokdo is Japanese territory and teaches its students that Dokdo is inherent in Japan and Korea is occupying it illegally. Many foreigners know Dokdo as Takeshima and the East Sea as the Sea of Japan. And many maps denote Dokdo and East Sea incorrectly. In this situation, we should always be interested in Dokdo, and as proud Koreans, we should be able to claim Dokdo is our territory. Then, let's see why Dokdo is an island of Korea. First, Dokdo is geographically the territory of Korea. Dokdo is 87.4 kilometers from Ulleungdo, and on a clear day, you can clearly see Dokdo from Ulleungdo. It is written in the geography record of King Sejong that Dokdo and Ulleungdo are not far apart from each other and can be seen if the weather is clear. But Oki Island, the closest Japanese territory to Dokdo, is 157.5 kilometers from Dokdo. It is farther than the distance from Dokdo to Ulleungdo. Second, Dokdo is our territory under international law. In order to get territory, people must live there and manage the land in the territory. Because Koreans live in Dokdo and Korea manages it, Dokdo is our territory. Second, Dokdo is our territory under international law. In order to get territory, people must live there and manage the land in the territory. Because Koreans live in Dokdo and Korea manages it, Dokdo is our territory. Third, many works of literature and maps show that Dokdo is our territory. Dokdo is mentioned in many Korean literatures such as History of Three Kingdoms, Dongguk Encyclopedia, and the Geography Record of King Sejong. In addition, we can see that Dokdo has been our territory in many maps of Korea, such as Map of 8 Provinces of Korea, Complete Map of Eastern Country, Complete Map of Joseon, and Complete Map of Left Sea. Until 1905, Japan didn't say Dokdo is Japanese territory. In Dotorban reply, there is written, Dokdo and Ulleungdo do not belong to Dotorban. And in Taejong official comment, it is written, Japan has no relation to Dokdo and Ulleungdo. Map of the boundary between three countries, which was drawn by Japanese, shows that Dokdo was the land of Joseon. Allied Supreme Commander's Memorandum 677 and San Francisco Consolidation Treaty also show that Dokdo is our territory. Like this, everyone has said Dokdo is Korean territory. It makes no sense to suddenly insist Dokdo is Japanese territory. Dokdo is a very important island for us because it has many values such as fisheries resources, minerals, and energy resources. In order not to have Dokdo robbed from us by Japan, we need to inform people around the world as much as possible. We need to make advertisements about Dokdo, a beautiful island, and increasing travel packages to many foreigners so they may experience Dokdo. Dokdo is our precious land. No matter what claim Japan takes to take Dokdo, we have to keep on getting through this like dirt that hardens when stepped on. We can't lose to Japan anymore. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, I'm Kang Sua in Goryeo Middle School. Nowadays, everywhere you go in Korea, you can see no Japan banners. What do you think about these banners? I am trying to participate in this campaign as much as I can. Participating in this campaign is not that difficult. If you don't buy Japanese products or go to Japan, you are already participating in this campaign. You don't need to spend money or demonstrate. Many people think as I do. How did this campaign begin? Last year, there was a Supreme Court trial concerning compensation for the victims of forced labor during the Japanese occupation. The Supreme Court ruled for a Japanese company to compensate the victims. After the ruling, Japan's government restricted exports to our country and excluded Korea from the white list of trade partners. Experts think this is a retaliation as a result of the trial. To fight against this economic retaliation, we started a boycott. The relationship between Korea and Japan is not so positive now. However, solving this problem is not easy since it started 100 years ago. Japan and our country have been close since long ago. However, since the Joseon dynasty, they have repetitively invaded our country, and from 1910 until 1945, they occupied Korea. During this period, they committed many cruel acts and left a deep scar upon our beautiful country. Even now, many people are suffering, so we want Japan to sincerely apologize. But they refuse to apologize and haven't reflected upon their actions at all. They insist that they have already repaid their debts. So I want to say this to Japan. This problem is not only between nations. It is about the individual victims. You say that it is over without sincerely apologizing to the many victims. Although this matter is over for politicians, it's still negatively affecting victims' lives. I am just a student, so I don't know too much about politics. However, I'm sure their opinions are morally and ethically wrong. We have learned only that the victims can forgive. Unfortunately, the victims that must be apologized to are disappearing. If there are no victims, that means there is no one to be apologized to. I think we should make Japan apologize as soon as possible. If this matter of the past isn't solved, the relationship between our two countries can improve. What we want is not just money. Japanese also want to hide their fault to their youth. So many young Japanese people don't know about these historical facts. Japanese people don't understand at all why the word that they said was so wrong. Moreover, a large number of people still use the rising sun flag that was used during the Japanese occupation of Korea, and they praise war criminals. Japan must teach history correctly, and we have to let people all over the world know about Japan's flaws. However, I think we should not deal with this problem in an emotional manner. We all saw the news reports that said a Korean man who attacked a Japanese citizen for no reason. The same happened in Japan too. We have to demand for compensation for these acts but there should be no more victims. We have to push for a result without violence or victims. By doing this, we can keep the peace. We should not force others to participate in this campaign. Everyone has different ideas. I don't think everyone in this room has the same opinion as me. I'm just standing here to share my opinion, and I may not persuade you. If someone says they don't want to participate in this campaign, we can blame them. They just have a different way to solve this problem. At the end of the day, we all hope to solve this issue. Some people don't know how or even why they should get along with Japan. But it is for the future generations of this world. If the situation continues, we will never have a solid relationship. I hope to live in a peaceful world. Yet, if we continue to attack one another, we will never reach true peace. In this situation, we have to combine forces. First, we should educate to people to understand this problem. In doing so, many people will be concerned about this issue. We should never forget about our history. Although it is a painful history, we should not avoid it and prevent this from happening ever again. Nor should we unconditionally hate Japan. Our aim is not to be Japan, but to improve the relationship between our two countries by solving the past problems. Now, the future of two countries is up to us. As Gandhi once said, you can shake hands with a closed fist. When Korea and Japan try to make a better world with open minds, their relationship will change the world. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Hello, my name is Yoo Seung-hyun. Today, I want to talk about Korea and Japan's future vision. Before all of you to listen to my speech, I want for you to sing with an open mind. My mom is Japanese and my dad is Korean. So, I wish and hope that those two countries maintain a healthy relationship. As all of you know, boycott Japan is really active nowadays. So, the relationship between our two countries is not at its best. I don't know how the Japanese public think about this situation, but I think it's not good news for them either. I think Japan should apologize about the Japanese colonial era and Japanese military, sexual slavery, etc. For now, I'll explain about what boycott Japan is. The reason why it happened is that Japan enforced an export control over 3 items necessary to make semiconductors. It is also needed to make televisions and computers. The Japanese say that the real reason is to protect their trade systems. They think that the products would be smuggled as strategic materials, making it security concern. It's an absurd reason. The true reason, however, is that the Supreme Court has ruled for the heads of these companies to pay back money for their past crimes as war criminals. If they are unable to pay back, then their companies will be dissolved as properties of war criminals. This ruling was not accepted by the Japanese government since it would officially label them as having former war criminals and recognize their crimes committed by the Empire of Japan. The Japanese government have claimed the official history of Korea is distorted. Then they excluded Korea from their trade white list. Because of it, Korean people think if you won't sell the goods on purpose, we won't buy your goods either. This is how the boycott Japan movement began. Because of it, Korean people have not been buying Japanese goods and the number of people who travel to Japan has decreased. The damage Japan has received in consequence is nothing when compared to Korea during Japanese occupation. I think there are several things necessary to restore their relationship. First, Japan should not destroy their own history. Japan own distortion of history is justifying the Japanese imperial era, they should self-reflect and show how embarrassing their history is, much like Germany has done. So they need to recognize their faults and those disasters don't happen again. All animals believe the first thing they see is their mother, even you and I. We believe the things we've been taught are all true unless we question them. But if someone questions my beliefs, I'll have to think twice. This is exactly the reason why Japan should not be altering their history books and let their youth learn about the true history of their country. Second, I want to talk about the behavior Korea has about Japan. Recently, I've seen several stories about Korea and Japan. I saw some companies and industrial installations talking about their hardships. While watching these stories, I felt Korea and Japan need to cooperate with each other in order to improve their relationship. In fact, there are some issues on Japan's treatment about sensitive history and other matters. But if the relationship between our two countries gets worse because of continuous anti-Japan sentiments, there will be more damage to each other. I wish Korea would open their mind and be brave enough to offer their hands as a symbol of peace despite how hard that may be. I'm still young. I'm not aware of all of the happenings of politics and economics. However, the word peace is always something good to hear. But to realize peace, a lot of bravery and sacrifice will be needed. I hope for Korea and Japan to make our relationship like a family, like my Japanese mom and Korean father. It is my one hope and wish. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kim Min-soo, a third grader at Yangchang Middle School. Thank you for listening my opinion about 독도. Today I tell you about 독도. 울릉도 동남쪽 백길 따라 이민. 외로운 사마나 새들의 모양. 그 누가 아무리 자기 땅이라고 불러도 독도는 우리 땅. Do you know this song? Yes, this song is about 독도. How much do you know about the value of 독도 to South Korea? 독도 is valuable for several reasons. First, 독도 is an important marker of our country's ocean territory, showing the east end of South Korea. It also plays a role in national security as a military hub for air and defense bases in North Asia. Second, 독도 has great economic value. The islands are surrounded by waters rich in marine resources. At 50 kilometers away from deep sea water, 독도 has been found to have gas reserves of methane hydrates and will have a high economic value in the future. Third, in terms of environmental and ecological value, it is the longest formed volcanic island in Korea and is a repository of volcanic terrain. What's more, it is a repository of ecosystems home to a variety of plants and animals. Traditionally, 독도 has been considered Korean territory by history, geography, and international law, not a disputed territory. However, because of the Russian-Japanese War, Japan insists that 독도 is their territory, and so we are still having a conflict today. Tensions over 독도 do have increased due to latest trade disputes over the end of the Kusumi Dokdo flies the Korean national flag, has Korean military living there, and has been the Republic of Korea's territory for a long time. The Korean people know the value of Dokdo, so let us defend it. Thank you for listening my opinion.
Okay, are you watching the news lately? Yes? No? Well, maybe you don't need to watch it. It is because it's the global issue. Everybody knows Asia is in a tense confrontation, and the conflict between Korea and Japan is intensifying. Japan government removed Korea from the white list. So, in Korea, we are boycotting No Japan as a slogan. But this is what I really like to say. Is this really gonna be okay? Is it right to keep checking each other and closing the country? I think though the government should be kept in check, we should be friendly with the publics. I keep my best to seek my own benefit, and you can do your best to seek your own benefit. So I'm here today trying to criticize Japan's reckless remark about Dokdo. As you know, Japanese has been claiming that Dokdo is their land. They are saying it on televisions, newspapers, furthermore, in textbooks. When I saw it, and I thought we must stop it and tell the truth to all people on earth. But how? So I thought about the method and came up with an idea. We all have different benefits. And I thought, why don't I promote and protect Dokdo by something we can do well? Are you good at computers? Then you can use the social network service or your own blog. Are you good at drawing? Then you can promote by pictures or cartoons. And I'm good at language. Then I can tell foreigners about the truth of Dokdo. So I want to tell you and the Japanese people and their government about the important problem of Dokdo. As you know, Dokdo is the land of our country. It has been our island for about 2,000 years. But Japan is claiming that Dokdo is their territory. Do you know what forced occupation is? Forced occupation is when Japan took over a country for 35 years. Dokdo was the first territory that Japan took over. Japan has been claiming that Dokdo is their territory for about that time. But according to the ancient history books and records, Dokdo is completely a Korean island. The fisherman on Yongbok found that Japanese sailors fishing illegally near the Dokdo's coast. And in 1696, he received a document from Japan for apologizing for territorial invasion and proving that Dokdo is Korean territory. Like this, Dokdo is a part of Korea's history. It is a symbol of peace that will stop colonialism and militarism from ever reviving again. Nevertheless, Japan is still insisting that Dokdo is their land. But if we do our best to protect Dokdo from other countries, nobody will be able to say that Dokdo is their land. I hope that day comes as soon as possible. Finally, to Japanese publics, please pay attention to the political issues between Korea and Japan. Also, please acknowledge the truth of the past history I mentioned above, and let us bring peace between the two countries. Thank you for listening.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kim Min-soo, just a normal middle school student living in Korea. I'm currently in my last year of my middle school. Although I'm busy preparing for entering high school. I'm standing here now. So today, I'd like to talk about a small island, Dokdo. Dokdo is such a beautiful island located on eastern border of Korea. However, many controversies have arisen over the sovereignty of this beautiful small island. So, let me give you an example to help you understand the current Dokdo issue. I have a 3-year-old cousin who always tries to take my stuff. But of course this is not a big problem because he's just a baby. However, what if a country, not a baby, tries to steal your stuff? Is that still okay with you? No, definitely not. This is what Japan is doing right now. Unfortunately, many people are not clearly aware of this problem. One of my friends is foreigner, and he once asked me why Korea and Japan have been fighting over the small island. He told me it's just a small island and it doesn't seem like a big deal. So I would answer that question now. The truth behind Dokdo. Do you know what day December 25th is? Yeah, it's Christmas, right? Yeah. But it's also the day Japan officially admitted that Dokdo is owned by Korea. In 1693, a fisherman named An Yong-bo was fishing for a living around Dokdo. One day, he saw Japanese fishermen fishing illegally there and he fought against them. As a result, he was kidnapped by Japanese troops and taken to Japan. He claimed that because Dokdo belongs to Korea and he had the right to fish there. Afterwards, the king of Japan released him and officially recognized that Dokdo belongs to Korea. And he forbade his people to go to Dokdo. This is what happened on December 25th, 1695, which is vitally important in Korean history. This fact is also documented in a diplomatic letter that Japan sent to Korea at that time. There are many other records on Dokdo that prove Dokdo is our land. The geography section of the Annals of King Sejong states that Ulleungdo and Dokdo are two islands belonging to Korea. Records on Dokdo are also consistently documented in other Korean history books. And surprisingly, not Korean books, but also Japanese books also prove that Dokdo belongs to Korea. There are plenty of Japanese records that reveal the true owner of Dokdo, including the map of 3 kingdoms published in Japan. Nevertheless, Dokdo is called Takeshima by Japan now, and Japan claims it belongs to them. Japan insists Dokdo became a Japanese territory according to the San Francisco Treaty. However, before the treaty, it was correctly listed as Korean territory. It is true that the San Francisco Enforcement Treaty did not list Dokdo as a Korean territory. Rather, it was listed as Ulleungdo instead of Dokdo. Allied forces such as Britain, Australia, and New Zealand strongly argued in the treaty that Dokdo belongs to Korea. Only because United States tries to incorporate Dokdo into Japanese territory. Japan distorts the overview of the San Francisco Treaty. In addition to above the historical and international legal grounds, Korea has exercised jurisdiction over Dokdo. That's why Korean policemen and militarymen are protecting Dokdo and its waters and airspace. In addition, Various rules and regulations are applied to Dokdo, and various facilities, including lighthouses, are installed and operated on Dokdo. Last but not least, Korean people are live on Dokdo. The famous song "Dokdo is Our Land" points to the closeness to Dokdo of Koreans' heart. The Dokdo Islands are a dividing issue for Korea and Japan. The Japanese keep claiming that Dokdo belongs to them, and also they made many absurd remarks about Dokdo. But we don't need to show an emotional reaction for that. Instead, we need to have a major attitude for the issue. We should look for objective and logical evidences to be recognized by international court. Let's reconsider how important Dokdo is for today's English speaking contest. Dokdo belongs to us, and that is the end of story. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Jung Hanel, a third grader in Dongsan Girls Middle School. Today, I'm standing here to talk to you about my opinion on a sensitive subject. These days, whenever we face many kinds of media, we notice there are lots of stories related to Japan. Of course, it's not strange because Japan is the nearest country to us. However, if you take a close look at the present situation, you can find there are some differences from before. There used to be cultural and economical events between Korea and Japan, like K-pop, film festivals, game programs, and so on. But more than 90% of the news on Japan is political events now. For example, the Liberal Democratic Party is getting more powerful than before. So, Abe, the head of the LDP, is trying to make the Self-Defense Force occupy a leader state in international society, even though many Asian countries with sad histories because of Japan oppose that. Especially, their current attitude and behavior make all Koreans angry and upset. They have never apologized for the problem of comfort women and their plunder of our cultural assets. In addition, their ridiculous claims are becoming more serious now. They insist Dokdo belongs to them even though there are no historical evidence and international law. Why? Why do they do that? As everybody knows that Japan is an economical animal in international society. They are greedy for our marine resources and fishery resources. I think it's time that we have to make their wrong thoughts and behaviors correct with logical thoughts based on accurate history. That's why I'd like to tell you the right response with exact historical awareness, not with just an emotional one. First, according to 세종실록, Dokdo has always been a part of Ulleungdo, and as the whole world knows, Ulleungdo has belonged to Korea throughout the history. Furthermore, Japan's claim is based on the notification number 40 of Shimanehan in 1905, which was due to the purpose of the military war against Russia. At that time, however, we had no autonomy because Japan has stolen our right with armed attack. Finally, according to the San Francisco Peace Treaty in 1951, it was prescribed that Japan would admit Korea's independence and would abandon all their rights and claim rights against Korea, included in Jeju-do, Gyeonggi-do, and Ulleungdo. Japan's distortion of history has not only made neighboring countries upset, but also prevented themselves from making good relationships in global society. Therefore, they have to admit their former faults and apologize to victim countries. And we should know the historical fact exactly and prepare ourselves for the better future relationships, not to repeat our sad histories. Thank you for listening to my speech.